Welcome everyone to today's podcast. And I have a gentleman, Eoin Clancy, all the way from Dublin on our call today. And I know this is going to be very insightful because the questions I've got to ask of Eoin are probably you're going to be thinking, oh, I don't know about that question, Michelle, but it's going to get us to the answers that perhaps we're not always willing to say out loud either. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Owen Clancy is an operations manager who got sucked into consultancy. He is a seasoned hospitality professional with hard-won experience of designing, building and running operations units from the ground up, from Hilton Marriott and the Crown Plaza to the Cheesecake Factory. And I must say, I love the Cheesecake Factory. I am a sucker for that when I go to America. I just going through the menus, all those things. Oh, too many choices. From Europe and the US to all over the Middle East. Owen has opened units for the most capable and professional companies, as well as opening his own. Multi-unit operations is now the principal associate for Galileo Hospitality Consultants. Welcome, Owen. It's so lovely to have you on the podcast.
Michelle, nice to be here.
So look, let's get into it. As Owen and I were just saying, it's the end of my day. It's the start of his, and we've both got places we'd like to be. But more importantly, we want to really get into these questions for my listeners because, as I said, we're going to have a lot of fun. So my first question for you, Owen, is you've worked inside some of the world's most highly respected hospitality brands. And you've also built your own multi-unit operations. In your experience, is a servant leadership style generally practiced in hospitality, or is it mostly just that aspirational language that makes a command and control culture underneath?
Yeah, I think you're right. There's a lot of aspirational aspect to this. The practical
Mm,
application is sometimes sadly lacking.
yes.
Um, I've met some great leaders in my time, to be fair. And actually, the Cheesecake Factory, my wife, my wife doesn't think it's a company. She thinks it's a religious cult, the way I go on with it. The level of attention to detail is very, very important for the success of an operation.
Mm,
And you can tell literally the sheep from the lambs.
yes.
With the Cheesecake Factory, you brought it up, I'll use it as a very good example. I had a boss, the global director of operations, fantastic guy. Worked just like dogs.
Mm.
We didn't do a 37.5 hour week, but it was strange because it was actually very enjoyable.
Right.
And as I said recently to somebody, if he called me tomorrow and said, "Oh, listen, I just need someone to do a week's opening, would you come over?" I'd
Yeah.
drop everything and go.
Yes. Mm.
Now that tells you an awful lot about the impact that person has on your long term, the way that you deal with people, the way that you manage operations.
Yes. Mm.
Genuinely, when you see somebody who can do everything that you do, it's not that he's somewhere over there and he's telling you should go and do this. He's standing there beside you saying, "This is how we do it."
Yes.
And then, from the servant leadership perspective, then stands back and says, "Now I want you to do it. And when you have a problem, come to me and I will help you solve that problem."
Mm.
It's very hard not to fall for that, very hard not to fall in love. I'm falling in love with the style, with the way of dealing with people. And I
Yes.
think because it's the best way forward, I've seen
Mm.
through 40 years of experience that it is the best way to run operations. It's the most successful, produces the best results. And you know that your team will stay with you longer,
Mm.
work harder. They're far more likely to achieve their KPIs.
Yeah.
And genuinely, they can actually have a lot more fun with it as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Just definitely aspirational, not often achieved, but
Mm.
it's something that people, as you say, they often put as a mission objective, but they
Mm.
don't tick that box as often as they should, at least.
Yes. Yeah. Which is a shame because when you see it working, it just works really well. And it was actually last year I did one of my podcast episodes was about a time that I spent in Phoenix, Arizona last year. And in Kierland, I went to the Cheesecake Factory just across the road. I went a couple of times. And just talking to the wait staff as well as the gentleman who was the manager of that venue and just seeing that aspirational system working within that venue. I mean, I've been in lots of cheesecake factories, but that one I could really see it working and just talking to the wait staff. And you're right, no matter what business it is, if you've just got the right person who can just breathe this aspirational thoughts, and it just goes from one person and across the whole team. And then of course then it goes out to our beautiful guests, doesn't it? That are dining with us, or having a drink or whatever it might be. But yeah, sometimes you might have the idea, it just doesn't always come to fruition.
I've worked with other companies who are perhaps a little lower down the list of companies that people want to work for.
Yes.
When I was younger and perhaps a little bit more foolish, titles were offered, roles were offered, and I jumped at the opportunity and somewhat hastily regretted it on an occasional basis. I did work for a company that was recently rated as the worst hotel company in the UK.
Oh, lovely.
It shall remain nameless, but you actually learn almost as much. This sounds kind of terrible in some way. You learn more from the people who are really bad at their job.
Mm,
Sometimes you learn from the people who are really good at their job,
yes.
and you have to be a little bit more discerning in the things that you want to adapt and incorporate into your own style.
Yes.
Uh, Working for Marriott in the States, I worked in Atlanta. The hotel was massive. It was 1,674 rooms, huge
Mm,
operation. And I can still tell you the name of the general manager, a gentleman by the name of Ted Renner. He used to know everybody's name.
mm,
1,800 staff, and he wasn't just reading your name badge. This is
yes.
somebody who's obviously very interested and values the team highly.
Mm,
Because we could feel that coming from him, it meant that we valued our jobs far more. And we were
yes.
far more likely to contribute at a much higher level of productivity to the company because of what we were receiving back from him.
Yeah.
He created an atmosphere, and it was impressive,
Yes.
really impressive.
Yeah. It was just like that feeling, knowing 1,800 staff, like knowing the names, and I'm sure there's probably even some that he knew, as out had the conversation about the favorite dog or the meal or the family or school or whatever. It was creating that real family, that feeling of belonging, and that's what employees are looking for, aren't they? They want to, we unfortunately the majority is have to work. So if we can work in an environment, I'm still waiting for that knight in shining armor. No, made of my own. But it's important that if we create that feeling of belonging, then we attract the people that want to work for us, and then they grow, and then they duplicate that same feeling to others, don't they?
Very much.
Yeah.
Dealing with a couple of guys yesterday, a supervisory management team, allocating them various little projects while I'm going away on a vacation, hopefully a well-earned vacation. But
Sure.
well, hopefully at least. But the point is that I'm setting up little mini projects for the team when I'm away. They'll work in pairs. It'll draw them together, make them work together, hopefully better as a team.
Mm,
They should have their projects finished by the time I get back in 2 weeks.
yes.
But the idea of it all is that we're trying to build that team. You
Mm,
talk several times in your posts and in your podcast about community. We're
yes.
trying to build a community spirit within the team. People
Mm,
should become at least self-reliant on each other. You help me, I help you. You
yeah.
build a level of trust, and then what happens is the people tend to stay longer. The
Mm,
issue we frequently have in hospitality is that there is a bit of a revolving door.
yeah.
And if you can reduce the speed of that revolving door, people stay longer. You're investing less time in the initial induction. You're spending more time on their growth, developing them,
Yes.
so
Yes.
that they feel that their career is growing. There have to
Mm,
be some promotion opportunities there as well, to be fair.
yes.
But some people, I'm dealing with a guy yesterday who was at a lower level than he should be. What is the issue? The issue is that he's got family that he has to deal with, and that's his overriding commitment, his overriding priority. I understand that completely. So I'm sitting down with them saying, okay, listen, what can we do? I'd like you to take on a bit more responsibility, to take a higher role in the company.
Mm,
But for that to happen, we need to arrange your life around your children, wife, and wider family. How
yes.
can we blend the two together?
Mm,
If we can get that balance right, the loyalty that'll come back from this gentleman is exceptional. His
mm,
productivity will rise. He'll be much more contented. That means the atmosphere within the wider group will be much more positive. And that means the staff who are potentially, they've just come in the revolving door, they could just as easily go back out. These people are
yes.
more likely to stay. We're
Mm,
spending less time on training, initial training, getting people up to speed. Because like I know, when
yes.
somebody walks in the door, it's actually taking us time, effort, and money to train these people.
Yes.
Only
Yes.
actually contributing to the business a month, 2 months into the employment.
Mm,
So if we can cut down on that, our productivity rises. I hate to use the word exponentially, but very, very quickly. And that's
yes.
really the truth of all of this.
Mm,
Also, from a guest perspective, let's be fair, without the guests,
mm,
we have no salaries.
that's right.
they're key to it all. Um, But with guests, if they can build relationships with staff, predominantly staff, because they're the touch point for the company between
Yes.
the company and the guest, if they can build longer relationships with staff,
Mhm.
they'll come back more often. So
Yes,
it's a virtuous circle. Everybody benefits from this. But it
definitely.
starts, as you said at the very start, with a little bit of servant leadership. You're
Mm,
trying to guide and support your team,
yes,
not just command and control. Come here, do this.
yes,
Those
yes.
days are gone, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, yes, and long gone. And what I really enjoyed hearing you saying then, Owen, it was the fact that at times we have to look at the season of life that person's going through.
Exactly.
And we're going to see a lot of that, now, particularly with our Gen X being that really in that senior leadership role where they're now looking after aging parents. And,
Yeah.
I did it many years ago. I've lost both my parents now, but, at the time it was, trying to find them places, the hospital, the doctor's visits, and then retirement villages and all that goes into that. And then for many of them, they've still got children at home or they're looking after grandchildren as well, or have those responsibilities because the children are also working. And so I think to be a really great employer is to realize I could be really hard and say to this staff member, just go. You're obviously not interested in the role, but instead, as you're saying, let's have a discussion. You're in this season of life. What can we do for us? We want you to do this. We think you can achieve this, but what can we do to support you? Still recognizing that you're running a business as well,
Of course. Yeah.
but you will get that extra loyalty, but you'll also get somebody who is just really good at their job instead of you going out, recruiting again, and then spending that cycle of months hoping that this person's the right person. It's just crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And there are so many compliance training modules that we must, by law, give to our staff. If
Yes.
you actually completed them with an employee, you're freeing them up. First of all, they're more developed, they're
Yes.
more trained, more experienced. But if you're constantly starting back at base one again,
Mm.
it's exhausting
Yes.
emotionally and physically, but it's financially draining as well.
Mm.
So trying to reallocating your energy so you can spend a little bit more time with your team,
Mm.
building that relationship with them, developing them, growing them, offering them opportunities in the future. The payback
Yeah.
is phenomenal.
Yes. Yes.
Phenomenal.
Yes, yeah. And then what you were also talking about, how it flows through to our guests and that relationship that they have with the frontline team members or even the managers are on the floor, is that not only do they return, but they recommend. And we all know, we look at that new restaurant, we think, oh yes, we've read the reviews, are they good? But it's that personal recommendation from our mate that sits at the desk next to us or somebody on the train or just hearing, now people go to social media and sorting through them all. It's those recommendations and referrals that really make businesses, don't they? And all because they've had a great relationship and a really nice meal or whatever it might be. Yeah.
100%. Couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
It is the people who walk in your door who, when they walk out your door, should be your advert.
Yes, definitely. For all the right reasons.
And even interesting again that you say that. That's a very good point because realistically, when you have an opportunity, sorry, I'll rephrase that. When something goes wrong, you have an opportunity to
Yes.
turn them into that walking billboard or that walking and talking billboard. If you saw, you come into the restaurant, you come into the hotel, you have a pleasant experience, nothing goes wrong, you
Mm.
walk out, you think, that was nice, that was pleasant. You
Mm.
probably won't really tell anybody about it per se.
Yes.
But
Mm.
if you've had a problem and it's solved correctly and it's managed with a little bit of care, maybe even a little bit of love, by definition, you're going to be far more impressed. It's a more remarkable experience, and you're more likely to talk about it.
Yes, yes, yeah. And sometimes it can be really something simple. And last night it was my husband's birthday. We have a beautiful restaurant down here called Echelot in Berrima, which is part of the Southern Highlands. It's a really lovely little country town, but it's a well recognized restaurant and you have to book in weeks and weeks in advance. So, it's only 10 minutes down the road from us. So we were there last night. Now, my daughter and I were together. We love a cocktail, but my husband doesn't drink alcohol. So he's sitting there, and the wait girl, she was just wonderful because he's sitting there and he's reading through the mocktails. No, I don't like this. No, I'm very slow. And I'm thinking, come on, hurry it up. Anyway, then he goes, oh, I'll have one of these. And he goes, cranberry, orange, pineapple. And then she looks at him very nice. She goes, "Oh, sir," she goes, "that's our juices." And without a beat, instead of going, "Buddy, that's like one juice per," without a beat, she said, "Would you like me to make you a very special tropical cocktail for you?" And my husband said, "Oh, that'd be really nice, and she went away and she made this beautiful big glass. She put ice in it. She put an umbrella, and she goes, "That's complimentary for your birthday." All just by what she said. We had 4 courses. We literally rolled out of the place. Cost us a lot of money, but we'll be back and we'll return and we'll refer. All because she made him feel absolutely special
Gotcha.
with
Yes.
by just having a mixed juice because he'd read it wrong. And it can be something. But how many times, Owen, have you been in where you've had somebody correct you, and rightly so, but you feel embarrassed, particularly if you're with people that you don't know, or even that you do. So I thought just the way she handled it was beautiful. That doesn't come with being rote trained. That's come from somebody who loves what they do, don't you think?
Yes, and it's somebody who's been given the space to do that. They've
Yes.
been, to use the old word, empowered.
Yes, definitely. Mm.
And if you can get your team to that level on a regular basis, think about their work life. They're actually having more
Yes.
fun. They have more control. They're not just
Mm.
robots in the machine,
Yes.
cogs in the larger machine.
Mm.
They have some control over their life and they're enjoying their day-to-day interactions with people. And that it's that contact point between
Yes.
the company and the guest, which the manager can't always manage because
Mm.
they're not physically there. They have to entrust, they have to give power to their employees so that
Yes.
they have the autonomy to deal with these issues.
Mm.
You mentioned, that little things going wrong and how it can be a good thing.
Mm.
Yesterday in a hotel, and we had an issue with breakfast. Wandered over to somebody, "How's your food? Is everything okay?" Yes, but
Yeah.
that's when you have to lean in slightly. Sure, how can I
Yes.
help? Tell me some more. And they said, there was a problem with the juice. We had a to-go box. We had, because we didn't make it for breakfast. We were leaving too early on a tour. We got a juice and it's out of date. I was a little bit surprised. I thought, okay, that's not what I would have expected to happen.
Mm.
Could I maybe possibly see the juice carton? Of course, yes, certainly. Come up to our room. Okay, and I wandered up with them, and they brought it out. The date they were looking at was actually the production date.
Ah, right. Yes.
Expiry date was below it, slightly smaller print, but below it. And I
Yes.
said,
Yes.
okay, so here just below it says EXP. That's actually the expiry date. And I could have thought, you idiot, didn't you read it right? But the lady said, "Oh, I didn't have my glasses on." So that's fine. I said, "I had to take my glasses off to read it." So we're the opposite. We're the same. Don't worry about it. It's not a problem. Listen, are you down for breakfast tomorrow? When you're there, call me. We'll make sure that everything will be perfect for you.
Yes.
And
Yes.
thank you so much. And she
Yes.
shook my hand and she didn't quite kiss me, but we were going in that direction. And
Yes. 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 Yes.
they're the moments that you got into hospitality for.
That's right.
That's
Definitely.
why we do this.
Yes. Yeah.
And the people that aren't interested in that, they need to work in banking or insurance or something else.
Mushroom
I'm
farm.
not knocking banking, don't get me wrong. There's wonderfully caring people in banking, but it's a different style of approach.
It
And
is.
what we're trying to do is we're trying to just kind of cradle the guest a little bit more,
Yes.
give them that feeling that we are here to help them. No
Yes.
matter what it is, if we can possibly do it, we will.
Mm.
And the juice turned into a cocktail is a great example of that.
Yeah. And
Absolutely magnificent.
it was just lovely, and we walked away, and and you could see her even at the end while we were leaving, and she goes, "So remember, when you want the best mocktail in town, come to
Yes, this is
come to
place.
Thai." And it was just that last little, she enjoyed making it as well, which was fantastic. We talk about the younger generation now, particularly in the hospitality, with a lot of Gen Zs, and I don't know if it's the same, where you are, but here you've got,
Yes.
oh, they have no initiative, they have no common sense, and there's a little bit of negativity. But I think we have that in every generation, Owen. But it's just some people always, pick on that new generation. But you've operated environments where the workforce spans, multiple generations. Whether it's from the
Yes.
Hilton to the Cheesecake Factory, Europe, USA or the Middle East. But when a hospitality operator is making those hiring decisions, what is that genuine business case for employing the older person, that more experienced staff? And where do operators perhaps get it wrong?
Well, in hospitality, image is a lot of what we sell.
Mm,
Let's be brutally honest about this. Social media plays a massive, massive role
yes.
in
Mm,
hospitality. And the decisions that people make, particularly the females who are often the decision makers in where people go.
mm,
I know my wife makes most of the decisions about where we go, to be fair. Um, but it's often done with the aid or not of social media.
yes.
And
Mm.
on social media, let's be fair, old and wrinkly doesn't really cut the mustard. People are looking for somebody young, fresh, vibrant, dare I say, beautiful. As wonderful as that is, as wonderful as the image is, the reality is starkly different.
Mm.
Realistically, younger people are high in energy, high in enthusiasm in many, many ways, but
Mm.
there are parts that aren't quite so perfect. Let's be
Yes.
fair.
Mm.
There has been I have noticed a massive difference post COVID, after the issues that we had with COVID.
Yes.
Um, and it has undoubtedly affected the mental health of a lot of our younger
Mm.
employees.
Yes.
I understand that. I get that. It affected me negatively too, to be
Mm.
fair. But at the same time, there are some people who have, to a certain extent, taken advantage of the situation. I
Yes.
don't feel I can do that. It's not something I want to do now. That's okay. It's part of your job. If you don't
Mm.
like it, I would hate to see you leave, but
Mm.
unfortunately, we have to go down a disciplinary route if that's the situation.
Yes. Mm.
But if you handle these situations with a bit of adeptly, adroitly,
Mm.
what you find is often you can turn the person into a far more productive employee. But it takes a lot more patience than it did 20,
Yes.
30, 40 years ago.
Mm.
But again, we're referring back to the servant leadership thing. If you're willing to spend the time, you can actually get massive returns on your investment in time.
Yes.
Sitting, talking, and most importantly, listening to your
Yes.
employees. This is the bit that is, from a management perspective, we often kind of slide by and just kind of shift that one to the side. We know what we're doing. We need to do this.
Yes.
That's all valid. I get that. But
Mm.
sometimes you just need to listen to the personal circumstances the person is in, what they're
Mm.
facing.
Yes.
Sometimes it may be trivial to us. We go, oh, for God's sake. But to the person, to the employee, it's massive.
Yes.
And if we
Yeah.
can see it through their eyes, if we can walk in their shoes for the day,
Mm.
all day, but you understand what I mean, it will open up vistas, new opportunities to us. Because realistically, the vast majority of these people have been dismissed as
Yes.
previous managers and employers in the past.
Mm.
They're
Mm.
looking for, they're waiting, yearning for a shoulder to lean on, an ear that
Yes.
will be open to their needs.
Mm.
If you can provide that,
Yes.
life becomes an awful lot easier.
Mm.
Did a little work with a well-known British gourmet food company recently, focusing on tasting menus.
Mm.
Had just this issue with a girl who said, I just can't do this anymore. I just can't take it. The chef's been shouting, he's been abusive to me. Okay, why has the chef been abusive to you? Well, I mean, just because I got the order wrong.
Mm.
Okay, okay, let's just go through that. You should have delivered course five and you delivered course, so you should have delivered course four, you delivered course five instead.
Mm.
That means that they're now out of kilter. That means the wine pairing that you're supposed to have delivered is the wrong wine. Now the bartender's getting annoyed at you, but
Yes.
it's not their fault. It's not your fault. It's their fault.
Mm.
Now
Yes.
that was what was going on in my mind. But of course, I had to listen to her. She had to come
Yes.
out with all of this.
Mm.
At the end of it, she was cognizant of what she was saying. She
Mm.
did understand. There was still a little bit of resistance, but I actually didn't even have to say anything. All I had to do was ask a few perhaps pointed questions. Why did this happen? How did that make you feel? How do you think they
Yes.
felt?
Mm.
And then suddenly things opened up a little bit and she became far more pliable,
Yes. Yes.
more understanding of the wider view. And
Mm.
once that happens, not always, but sometimes, frequently, once they've had that opportunity to open up, things can be smoothed out.
Yes. Well, they're starting to see it from the two points of view, isn't it? Or that just that wider view, because they're seeing it from where they stand. Oh, you're attacking me, or I feel like you're yelling. But what is that broader view? And yes, now it's the bar. So now they're thinking we've got the wrong wine with the wrong food, and you've only then got to have. There'll be some diners that'll be, oh, that'll be fine. Don't worry, don't stress. But there'll be others. No, this is not what I had ordered. This is not what my expectation. So now that levels up. Now they're not only dealing with a screaming chef, well, they feel it's a screaming chef and a bar manager, but now they're dealing with the unhappy diner, and which will escalate really, really quickly and become uncomfortable for everyone. What are your thoughts though about the older population in I shouldn't be saying older population, but we're so
More
focused on
mature.
Gen Z being the biggest generation in our workforce over the next decade. But what about bringing those even the top end of Y and X, because for many baby boomers have retired, although there are some that are still wanting to continue for quite a number of years, even in frontline roles. That do you see that there is still this quite a large cohort across those three generations that enjoy the workplace, but either are not getting a fair go, or do you believe that they're getting a better go than they did before COVID?
I think it is changing. You're right.
Mm,
I think people with more experience are being slightly more valued. The value attached to them is increasing. It's improving in perception.
yes.
Um, I have my the recommendation that I give people in an operation is that they employ a wide variety of age groups.
Yes.
If
Mm.
everybody is young or if everybody is old, if they're young, what will happen is they will go out partying. It's as
Yeah.
simple as that. And then people will not turn up the next morning. If you have a more varied workforce, my experience, strong experience, has been that the older people, particularly older females, tend to be a little bit mother henish in
Yes.
that they tend to
Yes.
kind of put their arm around the younger, obviously
Mm.
more so girls, but they tend to stabilize them
Yes.
um,
Mm.
and give them a bit more connection to reality, perhaps. So
Mm.
it's a fantastic dynamic to have that blend of different ages.
Yes, yeah. It's just that combination. And we work beautifully together and we can learn so much from each other, which is great. In your bio, you described yourself as that you got sucked into consultancy after a
Yes.
career of running, real operations. Now that's a different starting point,
Yes.
and for most consultants. How should a hospitality operator evaluate whether bringing in a consultant will actually deliver a return? And what are the signs they're about to waste their money?
Yeah, good point.
Mm,
The sucked in part, I'll give you one example of it. I got a phone call completely out of the blue. Somebody saying, "Hi, listen, we need a little help. Can you help
mm,
us?" Of course. What do you need? Let's sit down. Let's find out, again, listening, find
yeah,
out what your needs are. Let's literally, we'll write them down, we'll analyze them, we'll make sure that this is actually what you need, and
mm,
then we'll drive forward to find ways that we can satisfy the needs that you have.
yes.
A small boutique hotel with a company with a couple of other restaurants and bars as well, and they had some serious issues, very serious issues.
Mm,
There was joint general managers who needed to move on, shall we say,
right.
uh, and I had to assist in that process.
Mm,
Reorganizing a management team is challenging. People do not like change at
mm,
all, especially when they're benefiting from the fact that they can do it their own way.
yes.
Um, the sucking in part was interesting because it just when I arrived back in Ireland, obviously I'd been abroad for many years. My
Mm,
father was here; he was 91. He's unfortunately passed away recently, but I got to spend quite a bit of time with him, which is fantastic.
mm,
But the point is that I got drawn into this simply because I spoke to an entrepreneur who has quite a few different operations, hotels, restaurants, bars, and he
mm,
said, "Listen, I need you to do some auditing for me."
right.
Okay, I've done quite a bit of auditing internally in companies. And
Mm,
he said, "So can you do X, Y, and Z?" Of course, no problem. We can get
mm,
that done for you. Tell me what you need, and then we'll form a plan to make sure that you get what you have to have.
yes.
And then, of course, I get another phone call, and then I get another phone call, and I get another phone call. So it is interesting. I like the challenges of it. I like the rawness of it. It's always good when you walk away from a project that you can turn around and go, "Did we miss anything? No, no, we've ticked
Yes.
all the boxes. That's
Mm,
great.
yes.
Thank you very much."
Yes.
And a feeling where you can shake hands with that person and know that they're looking you in the eye, thinking, "Great, we've got a job done
Mm,
here."
yes.
Very satisfying. Very
Yes.
satisfying.
Yes.
And I've done work in Grenada. I've done work in Atlanta. I've been asked to. People get to know you after a period of time,
Yes.
and then
Mm,
you get referrals, and people go, "Yeah, talk to this guy. He'll help you with that."
mm,
And that can be kind of fun. But it is again, this is hospitality. You're helping people.
yes.
If you
Mm.
don't have that chip in you, you won't last in hospitality.
Yes, yeah. So do you think, when you look at consultants, and there are a lot out there, across all industries, but there are, quite a number in, globally for
Of
hospitality.
course.
Do
Yeah.
you feel, how should perhaps a company, just like two key points when they're looking at a consultant, what are perhaps two things that they should be considering, or two questions that they should ask? I don't know why those balloons have just gone up. Who knows?
In celebration of the question you're asking, very important
Yes.
question. What should they be looking for is somebody
Mm,
who obviously has experience, that goes without saying, but also there has to be a kind of almost like a cultural fit. The
yes.
conversation they have initially, you need to have. Values alignment is one of these great phrases that come up.
Yes.
I prefer to
Mhm.
speak quite plainly. You need to be able to feel that you're compatible with the person you're talking to.
Yes.
And I've seen and I've spoken to quite a few people who think that they know everything about their subject in depth, and in many cases they do.
Mm.
But most hospitality companies require a bit of a generalist because
Yes.
there isn't just one problem. The
Mhm.
problem isn't just in this area or that area, it's through the company. It's a
Yes.
cultural thing in many cases. We don't do enough of X. And you need someone to step back, take a bit of a helicopter view and go, you've got a bit of an issue here. That's quite clear. But have you looked at this? What about this? Is this one of the contributory causes down here?
Yes.
And that cultural fit will only happen after, you'll feel it after kind of 10, 15 minutes.
Mm.
Um, but if you're looking for a consultant, have a list of questions. This
Yes.
is what I'm looking for. Can you
Mhm.
do this for me?
Yes.
Do not feel embarrassed at your own lack of knowledge. Nobody in hospitality knows everything.
No, no,
Nobody does.
no.
That's the beauty of it. We're all learning and growing. Some people have
Yes.
just been down certain roads a lot farther and a lot deeper. And that's, you're looking to find the people who've been down those roads, the ones that can help you with certain aspects of your business that you know you're going to need help with.
Yes.
This little boutique hotel with their different restaurants and bars, beautiful hotel, big copper baths in the rooms. I mean,
Mm.
stunning. Some of the suites actually had jacuzzis on the balconies, and it was
Oh
beautiful.
gosh.
That was stunning. And looking out onto the sea, it was really beautiful.
Yes.
But the owners were smart enough to know what they didn't know.
Right.
And
Mm.
that's unusual. That's
Yes.
very unusual. I
Yes.
actually got asked to come back and do a little bit more work with them afterwards.
Mm.
Very good guys. But the owner turned around and said, listen, we're opening another few rooms when it's done. You must come and have a look. Stay on us and have dinner. It's fine, no
Yes.
problem. I just thought, thank you. That's the tip left on the table
Yes.
at the end of the thing. I
Yes.
didn't need the money for that. What I was looking for was him to be happy with what had happened.
Yes. Definitely.
And
Mm.
the strange thing, and here's an unusual thing, I noticed within one of the companies I was working with that they had a bit of a laddish, a boyish, perhaps a bit overly masculine attitude
Mm.
towards the teams. So I did an anti-bullying training. I was
Mm.
laughed at when I told them. I said, I'm going to need 90 minutes of your time for this, but I really think it's important. And they laughed a little bit at the start of it, thinking, oh, come on, really, this is just, yeah, this makes, there's no sense to this.
Mm.
And at the end of it, he came over, looked me in the eye, shook my hand, and said, that's probably one of the most interesting things I've done in the last couple of years. He said, I didn't
Wow.
realize how many potential mistakes we were making and how
Yes.
close we were to having lawsuits. The WRC in Ireland, there's the Workplace Relations Commission, Labour
Mm.
Court for the rest of us. Caseloads are increasing rapidly. There was a
Mm.
23% increase between 2 years ago and last year.
Wow.
It is increasingly where, particularly our younger generation, are going
Yes.
to what they see as balance the books,
Mm.
rightly or wrongly.
Yes.
But the cost to employers is phenomenal. And I
Mm.
cannot emphasize enough how well or how important a servant leadership style, to tie it back into what we said at the start, how
Yes.
important that is to ensure that we don't end up in labour court.
Yes.
That's purely from a
Definitely.
legal perspective. Morally, we should be doing the right thing.
Mm.
I
Definitely.
can't emphasize that enough. To
Yes.
help you sleep at night,
Mm.
and people who work for you sleep at night, you should be trying to do the right thing as much as you possibly can.
Yes, yeah. But how interesting how you saw it from that outsider perspective, being a consultant, and didn't just suggest it as a, would you like to? This is what I need to do. This is what I'm going to do. And even though you said they, I mean, sort of that mocking laughter at the start, were able to come away and sit there and realize, wow, we thought we were here, but we are like way there, and we need to come up, up to the speed with this. So it's wonderful when you can be, and I do see that as being a consultant. As you said, you've got to have that broader generalist view, and you can see that bigger picture, or have seen that scenario somewhere else, and how,
Exactly. The same scenario.
yeah,
Precisely.
just how just quickly it just bombed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just interesting when you can share that. But you also have a client who is willing to listen and go on that journey with you, which is key. We talk about Michelin stars, and in
Oh, goodness.
restaurants, that's the thing, people, oh, it's a Michelin star restaurant, it's up there. And for the hospitality, that is that ultimate status, symbol, because everybody knows what it is. Yet we've seen some high high profile chefs hand them back. You've worked across fine dining and casual dining formats, including, as you said, the Cheesecake Factory. But is fine dining on the decline as a business model, do you feel? And is there an argument that surrendering a Michelin star can actually be a smart operational decision? Because, wow, that's a big decision to hand back.
Yes, it is indeed. There's a Michelin star restaurant up the road here. There's another one down on the left. I mean, I have two of
Wow,
them within 600 yards of where I live.
goodness.
Uh, Dublin is blessed with a good culinary scene.
Yes.
Getting the star is the pinnacle of achievement.
Mm,
First, it's what everybody aims for.
yes.
Um, it is, it's what people dream about, literally,
Mm,
and I mean dream about.
yes.
And yet, and there's this, the pause starts there. The work involved is backbreaking,
Mm,
heartbreaking, and
yes.
family breaking.
Mm,
Hospitality has the third highest level of divorce, third highest divorce rate after air traffic control and somebody else that I can't remember.
yeah.
And chefs are even higher up on that list.
Yes.
So there is a price to pay.
Mm,
Now, some people will pay the price and will keep going.
mm.
And remember that Gordon Ramsay has actually lost 13 stars in his career.
Wow. Gosh. Mm.
Not what you'd expect, but he's got 19. And
Yes.
that's the
Yes.
bit that we're focusing on. Some of them, I can't tell you, but I can guess, some of them he probably was happy to let go of.
Yes.
There is a case, a very, very strong case, for handing back a Michelin star, but only after you've achieved it and had it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Why? Because
Yeah.
then you can always say, Michelin starred chef.
Mm.
I was a Michelin starred chef, or this was a Michelin starred operation. We gave it back at the key factories, and we then reduced prices accordingly to make it more accessible for more of our guests.
Ah, interesting way to go about it. Mm.
I I can't tell you, but I've heard some conversations, and people are going, from a marketing perspective, how can we manage this?
Yes.
That
Mm.
is, I believe, a very smart strategy.
Mm.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. We'll pretend that we're in a Michelin star restaurant. If we are operating at that level, the expectations are astronomical.
Yes.
That alone is
Yes.
astronomical. And the problem with that level of food is one word, it's consistency.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
you had a wonderful experience in the restaurant that you were talking about earlier on.
Mm.
The food presumably was good, otherwise, you would have mentioned something about it if
Yes.
it wasn't. And what I'm guessing this restaurant has is, if it's there for so long with such a long wait list, is consistency.
Yes. Yes.
Hitting that 8 out of 10 every
Mm.
single time,
Mm.
that's a fantastic objective. But if you can get up to nine, 9.5, you can't maintain that every single time.
Yes.
That's
Mm.
not feasible.
No.
So it might be better to live in the 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5 zone
Mm.
rather than the 9, 9.5, 10 zone. We
Mm.
were in chapter one there 2 years ago. A friend of mine came over. We used it as a good excuse to have a very, very nice meal.
Nice one.
Two Michelin stars, stunning food. I mean, stunning food,
Mm.
not good, not very good, stunning food.
Mm.
Flavors literally bursting in your mouth. Literally, it felt like there was small explosions going off in my palate.
Wow.
Exceptionally good, but it's not something you can afford on a regular basis.
Yes. Yes.
And
Mm.
therein lies the problem.
Mm.
Go to the Cheesecake Factory as often as you want. It's accessible price wise.
Yes. Mm.
Once you get into that two Michelin star, even one Michelin star, but once you get into the two and possibly even the three, the
Mm.
stratospheric heights of three Michelin stars, you can't do that every month because
Yes.
it's just too expensive.
Mm.
So there is a good case for bringing, once you've achieved a star and held it, shown that you can hold it for a couple of years, you've built your reputation.
Mm.
From a chef's perspective, if they want to go elsewhere, then all they have to do is say, here's the Michelin star that I used, or stars that I used to have.
Yes.
I can do this kind of food, but let's do it at a more accessible price.
Mm.
Let's widen the financial base that we can build this on. And that's something the bank will give you a loan for.
Mm.
Michelin starred restaurants go bust with alarming regularity.
Yes. Yes.
Alarming regularity.
Mm.
It's not a
Mm.
good financial bet. But from a purely, forget the reputation, or from a purely financial perspective, I actually think if somebody can get to that level, get the star, hold it for 2, 3 years, and
Mm.
then physically say, guys, thank you very much. We do not wish to be listed.
Yes.
Advise Michelin accordingly. They go, no problem, thank you very
Mm.
much. And then move on. You can then build a larger restaurant,
Mm.
develop higher revenues. Your margins will actually probably be higher because you don't have to get that exclusively expensive ingredient.
Mm.
And, and it makes it a far more stable financial base on which to build a business.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because you've just reminded me. I saw today in one of our local, or in one, it's not local to where I am, but one of our venues here, and they were saying we have a new chef from a Michelin star restaurant.
Yeah.
And I
Well, I
think to
mean,
myself, oh, wow, this food's going to be absolutely phenomenal. So but I thought it was a really interesting way to market this new chef, because to me that's putting a heck of a lot of pressure on them
yeah.
to actually prove, because you're going to have some people going, oh, you call this, what do you call that? Yeah, it's going to be a lot of pressure. But I thought, look, why not? But then all of a sudden, he may be this phenomenal, well-known Michelin star chef or worked in this restaurant and is able to prove it. So it will boost it's going to be an interesting. I thought it was a very interesting concept of how to market this person.
Very much. But again, you're right, you're taking a risk.
Mm,
One thing I would say is, and I come back to the word consistency. Consistency is a
yes.
key to building a strong business in hospitality. Making
Mm,
sure that it's consistently clean, the quality of the food is consistently good, the service levels are consistent. We say the same thing. Anywhere I go, one thing I look at is systems,
yes.
systems, systems. I
Mm,
need to see an opening and closing list. I need to see the scripts for the receptionist when they answer the phone. How many rings is allowed? Is it three? Is it five?
yes.
And you have to break it down.
Mm,
Good companies do that, bad companies don't.
yes.
Bad companies say, we have a manager, he takes care of that. Good companies
Mm,
say, here's our system, this is our
yes.
SOP,
Mm,
follow this is how we train you. And
yes.
that shows a consistency across the board. The employees know exactly what the expectations of them are. There's no
Mm,
misunderstandings.
yes.
And then you
Yeah.
can build a solid business based on that.
Definitely. And there's certainly no misinterpretation whatsoever. And that's what we're wanting. Look, I think we could talk all night or all day in your circumstances there. But look, and I loved how you've shared your knowledge and your, some really very interesting, stories that you've shared with us to really show us the impact of the hospitality in all its glory, but also in those hard moments and where the team step up. With Galileo Hospitality, what is that single most common and most costly mistake that operators make when launching a new hospitality business, Owen? And because a lot of them have this great idea, but sometimes it works beautifully for a short time or a long time. But what does getting it right actually look like in practice?
Well, first of all, your marketing has to be spot on. You need to have
Yes.
got your market segment defined.
Mm.
You should your marketing plan attract that market segment
Yes.
predominantly. So the people who are going to pay your bills.
Mm.
Focus on your team. Ensure that they do actually know what they're doing. Again, I have to talk about the Cheesecake Factory. Sorry, but we trained our staff for 2 months,
Right.
60 days
Yes.
before we opened the restaurant.
Mm.
Monster. It's a huge labor cost.
Yes.
You can only do that if you're a massive company. But if you're a
Yes.
small company opening up, you must ensure that your staff are trained for all eventualities.
Yes. Mm.
Consistency. I can't emphasize how consistency
Mm.
is so important. It's what
Yes.
makes your operation tick. It's what brings your customers back. So it's trying to ensure that your food quality is consistently the same. You're doing
Yes.
things exactly the same way. Consistently warm, consistently well seasoned,
Yes.
not overdone,
Mm.
and setting standards. And that's the one
Yes.
word that I use again and again and again: standards. Once you can
Yes.
achieve those on a regular basis, consistently, life becomes much, much easier. Focusing on those three things is fantastic. And then finally, listening to your guests' responses.
Yes.
Walk out the
Listening
door.
again.
You need to find out what happens as they're walking out the door.
Yes, yes, yes. And that, as I said, it comes back to that listen. We have to listen to each other within our team, but also listen to our guests, and that's how we grow. Owen, thank you so much for sharing your wonderful knowledge and wisdom with my
Pleasure.
guest. I will put in the link, how to connect with you. But would you like to, is there a question that I haven't asked you that you would like to share something
You've been
about your own
comprehensive,
business?
very comprehensive. No, I mean, all I would say is that good hospitality professionals will have the same wavelength. You
Yes,
know, very quickly.
yes.
That's my final shot.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Owen, and I look forward
Pleasure.
to our paths crossing again in the future.
Indeed. Great
Oh,
chatting to you.
thank you. Bye.
Pleasure. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.